Hey guys, welcome back to Node.js tutorials. In the last video we looked at how to get request headers from a request. In this one we'll look at how to get query strings from a request. Now we have covered path variables, so the path variables exist like in a sequence order. So even though you're expecting the first one to be name of the person, the second one to be the password, if the person provides password as first and username as second, then it doesn't quite work well because then your expectations are mismatched and it won't work well, right? The second way of doing things is to use query strings. Now, query strings are pretty useful in the sense that you can provide them in whatever order you want, and they are usually key and value. So if in this case, if I want to say give me the count of how many you have, then I can say $select equals count. So this key and value, and then if I want to add another parameter, then I can add here as well. So I can say and give me name equals Manfred, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. Now here order does not matter because it's key and value, and it will automatically put it in the hash map and then do kind of whatever with it. So key and values don't really the order doesn't matter. What really matters is that the key is correct and the value assigned is the one that you want to send. So again, this is not encrypted over HTTPS, so if you want to send any kind of sensitive data, then don't send this as query string. But yeah, so back to the code. If we go back to router.get likes, what we want to do now here is if the select is set to length, or if select is set at all, then only return the length, right? Else then do whatever. Now we're not going to go through like how to make this elegant and how to do that kind of stuff. We'll just basically code it. So just JFDI. If you don't know JFDI, then just Google it. I guess I can't say in the video because it's meant for wider age range. So, yeah. Right. So the database.length is 0. So now because we're only going to send the count, if the count is set, we'll extract the query string of the select thing by saying in here, just say var select equals and request. Again, the request object has everything about the request. Request.query dot select. Yeah, that gives us a value for the select. Now in here we'll say if select is defined and select equals count, then return in the object we'll say count is 0. Yeah. Oh, sorry, no. So var response object equals undefined, and we'll just basically assign this count to the response object. So response object equals count response object, and in here as well we'll do the same thing. So let's we'll not use response. Oh well, we will use response object of course, but it'll be a little bit more cooler way of doing it. So we'll say response object is undefined. Select count. If count is correct, then set the response object to database. But by default, we'll say it's database, and then we'll send the response object. So let's go through the logic quickly. We're defining a new variable outside called select, which contains the query string select. So whatever you give here, select equals hello. This value is going to be stored in this bit. Then we're saying that if database length is 0, if it's empty, then set the response object to be undefined. And if select is count, so if select is defined, so user has provided us with the value for select, and if the value is set to count, then set the response object to be count : 0, and then response.status 404 and send a response object. Because we're in the if block of if database length is 0, we're automatically setting the count to be 0. But then, if it's not 0, if the database.length is more than 0, and if it contains data, then create a new response object and set the default value to be database, because we, by default, send the entire database back to the user. But if the select is defined and select value is set to count, then set the response object to be count colon 0. In this case, oh, that was good actually. I've got to double check this. Set it to length. So, yep. So if select is defined and select is set to count, then set the response object to be another object which contains one key of count and value of database.length, so the count, the actual count, and then send the response object. So if this block isn't satisfied, so if either select is undefined or if select is set to something else, then we're going to send back database, because that's as a response object, and that's going to get sent. But if it is defined, then we're going to assign this to this object, and then that object is going to get sent here. So that should work. Save that, and let's go back and restart the server. And send. So it doesn't work because the value is not set to count. We now set to count. Count is 0, yeah, and we still get 404, so which is good. Now if we go back to post and add a record to it, and go back to it, so select as count, then it says count as 1. But if I now remove this, then it gives me the actual object. Right, so that's it for this tutorial, guys. Cheers for stopping by. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.